guys, welcome back to my channel. So today we're going to be playing out with a whole bunch of new fun makeup and some brushes and some goodness. I wanted to show you guys in action some of the products I picked out for this month's currently testing series so you could see exactly what they look like and how they apply. I also picked up a few other things like the Sephora Favorites Selfie Kit, so I wanted to use some of the products from that, and in general I just wanted to play with makeup and kind of show you guys some first impressions slash, a lot of these aren't really first impressions. I've used all these products like 2 or 3 times, but they're still fairly new to me, so I just kind of wanted to share my thoughts, show you guys how some of this stuff works, and just generally hang out and have a good time. For those of you who are new to my channel, my name is Lauren. Thank you so much for coming and hanging out and chatting beauty with me. I upload new videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, with sometimes bonus videos on Saturday, so I hope you'll click that subscribe button if you're not already subscribed, if you want to see more videos from me in the future. And in the meantime, I am going to scoot you guys closer and also take you back in time so we can recreate this face. So we're going to start out with the Milk Makeup Blur Stick. This is a primer that I've heard a lot about. I've never tried it before. People seem to either really love or hate this, so I'm just like really curious. And I do have oily skin, so I'm into mattifying, but this is supposed to be a silicone-free primer, which I think is interesting because so many mattifying primers are full of silicone, so let's see how this goes. It's an interesting texture actually when you like touch this stick. Like it kind of feels like it needs to really like melt into your skin. Yeah, this is the kind of product that I don't think you can just do like one quick pass. Like I feel like you kind of need to like warm it up and like really work it into your skin for it to actually be doing something. Okay, yeah, that's strange. Basically, this primer doesn't even really feel like it's on my skin at all. And it's weird, like I can almost feel like the texture of my pores feels more prominent. I don't know, it doesn't necessarily look worse. So we'll see how foundation applies over this, but I kind of understand why some people may not be so into it because I don't really feel like it feels as silky or as smooth as some other primers I'm used to using. So for foundation, we're going to be using the Maybelline Superstay Full Coverage Foundation. This is a new foundation that just recently launched at the drugstore, or it may have been a relaunch for Maybelline, I'm not 100% sure, but this is stupidly full coverage. I have tried this a couple of times so far, and I do think that it's like a very full coverage glam foundation that has really great lasting power and actually really beautiful finish. It also has a pump. Hallelujah. So to apply it, we're going to be trying out this Juno sponge. So this is a microfiber sponge, which is really interesting. So like it's flocked on the outside, which is so different from any other sponge I've used. I did use this the other day, which is why it's like a little bit dirty. And I think it actually made my makeup go on pretty nicely. I wasn't using this product, I was using a different foundation, so we'll see how it works with the Maybelline one. But I believe this sponge is $4. So for $4, that ain't bad. This foundation color is definitely like a little bit dark. This is like my summer shade, but when I went to the store and was like looking to buy foundation, they didn't have the whole range of the Superstay. So it was like the other shade that was there that was lighter than this one was way too pink for me. But I probably would have been like a shade in between this and that had they had the whole range. My neck is tanner than my face though, so it's not gonna like be horribly mismatched, but you know, it's a little less than ideal. Sponge is definitely really interesting, guys. Like I do feel like it blends in the product pretty evenly, I'm not gonna lie. Seriously though, guys, that was one single pump of foundation and that like legit covered my entire face, and my skin looks kind of flawless. This does not emphasize texture, it does not emphasize pores, it just like completely blanks out your face, which if you don't like looking like you're wearing makeup and you want something super natural, this is pretty full coverage, but I feel like for like a special occasion, or if you like full coverage makeup for every day, this is really, really nice. But let's move on. For concealer, I'm going to be using the Maybelline Fit Me Concealer. This is in the shade Sand. I actually just picked this up recently for the video that I did about like beginners makeup. Like I wanted to put together a makeup tutorial slash like a product recommendation list for people that like don't really wear makeup normally and just wanted something very no fuss and easy to apply. And I didn't really have a drugstore concealer that I felt matched my skin tone. Like I had a bunch of things that were brightening, but I didn't really want to introduce highlighting and contouring into that video. So I went and picked this up because everybody raves about this concealer and talks about how amazing it is, and I had never actually tried it before. And I really think it's quite nice. Like, I understand what all of the fuss is about. It's not too heavy, it's very easy to blend, and the coverage is really nice. So it like feels light, but it covers like a medium to full coverage foundation. And with the fact that my foundation is so dark, this is actually a highlighting shade on me, so it works out pretty well. So let's powder, shall we? This is the Stellar setting powder. It's the Stellar Cosmic Glow setting powder in the shade Glow 02. I'll list this and everything I use today in the description box if you want to see all of the products, but this again was something in the Sephora Favorites Selfie kit that I've been trying out. It is a much more yellow powder, but I don't really feel like it adds a ton of coverage, even though it looks like it would. It's nice. So we are gonna set the under eyes with this brush from Juno & Co. This is the ES03 brush, and to be honest, I don't remember which of these is blush and which of these is powder. These two brushes are obviously, one's blush, one's powder. I don't remember which one they designate as which, but this ES03, I like the more tapered shape of this brush for getting my under eyes, so that's what we're gonna use it for today. And we'll just tap this right under the under eyes to set. Bring it up on the lid. And just bring this down around my nose because I tend to get oily there. So I just want to make sure my T-zone is set. Now I do feel like this is a very soft powder. It is a very smooth powder. Like, it definitely has not made my skin look dry. It hasn't emphasized any texture. I mean, the foundation was really smoothing to begin with. I do feel like this darkened things a little bit though. I had more brightness and lightness under my eyes before I went in with this powder, so I feel like if you had very fair skin, this shade 02 might be a little problematic for using it on your under eyes, but in terms of how it feels and sets, I think it's nice. And then when it comes to this brush, I actually really like this brush a lot. It's very soft. This brush is $2, by the way. $2, and it looks like it would cost, like, I don't know, maybe $8 based on just the design and the quality of the bristles, but it is extremely affordable, and I think this is really quite nice for just getting in these little areas right around the eyes and the nose. So let's just move it right along. We are going to bronze. I'm using up this Too Faced Milk Chocolate Soleil bronzer. I'm trying to hit pan on it slowly but surely. And we're going to apply that this with the ES05 brush from Juno & Co., which is a nice kind of big and fluffy but angled brush. So I think this will be really nice for doing some contouring. And of course, because this foundation is so dark, this is not going to look super bronze on my skin. But I'm kind of okay with that. I just kind of want to add some subtle dimension to my face. Again, these brushes, I don't hate them. They're very, very soft and fluffy. And for the price, I mean, like, I feel like you really can't beat it. I don't know, when I look at myself up close, I do feel like this bronzer is just a little bit patchy. I think my foundation is also just a little bit patchy around this part of my face. I maybe just didn't blend it as much as I would have liked with the sponge initially. Maybe I needed more product. So things are looking not awesome. Like, I feel like I've got like a chunk of bronzer right here that's just like a little bit patchy, that's not blending out the best. And I don't know if that's, I have a feeling like that has to be the foundation, because normally this bronzer is usually pretty easy to work with. Well, let us continue right along and see how blush layers on top of this. I'm going to be using this little sample I got in an Ipsy bag of the Tarte Amazonian Clay Blush in the shade Feisty, which is a nice sort of neutral brownie pink, which I think will look nice with the eyes we're doing later. So I am going to use this ES02 brush from Juno & Co., which may be a powder brush, but we're going to use it as a blush brush. And I'm just going to take this right on to the apples of my cheeks. Yeah, I feel like these bristles are very soft, but they're a little bit more springy, if that makes any sense. Alright, when I look like way up close at this, I am noticing some like dry spots on my skin. Now I'm also realizing this is the first time I'm ever using the blur stick. And I did wear this foundation before with a more hydrating primer and it seemed to wear really well. So this could also be a matter of the fact that I used a mattifying primer with such a mattifying foundation and that wasn't doing my skin any favors, because I feel like I am noticing some like textury spots right over here that are a little unflattering. But we'll move on to highlighter. So I'm going to be applying the Becca Shimmering Skin Perfector in the shade Opal. Again, this came in that Sephora Favorites Selfie kit. Really beautiful shade, kind of a cult classic champagne-y gold color. And we'll try applying this with a fan brush. This is the ESO4 from Juno & Co. So I'm just going to try to pick up a little bit of this on the brush. I love the Becca Shimmering Skin Perfectors. I think they are so stunning. To be honest, guys, fan brushes aren't like my favorite way to apply highlighter. I much prefer a sort of smaller tapered brush. But if you like fan brushes, this one is nice. It's got a little bit more density to it. It's bigger and it's got, you know, quite a few bristles going this way. So you kind of do cover a lot of territory and it's pretty easy to blend. It's also super soft. It's just a little less precise, I guess, is the difference. All right, gonna throw on my brows. I'm using the Maybelline Brow Precise Micro Pencil. Again, something newer to me that I'm testing out from the drugstore. This is actually really quite nice. And I think there are more shades of this than there are of the L'Oreal Brow Stylist Definer, which is L'Oreal's kind of micro brow pencil, so I appreciate that. I am using the shade, what shade are you? Rich brown, dark brown? It actually doesn't say on here anywhere, but it's one of those two. I'll list it for you guys in the description box. Dude, guys, my brow pencil just like crumbled right off. I think my camera cut out at that exact moment that a piece just like broke and snapped right off. Like I didn't even have the pencil turned up that much. So that was disappointing. It didn't do that to me the last time that I used it. So I don't know if it's just because it's not as fresh and like it's dried out just a teeny bit more that it's become more brittle, but like that's not good. I've only used it a couple of times. All right, are you guys ready for the fun part? So I put up a poll in my community tab asking you guys which of the 4 new color icon palettes from Wet n Wild you wanted to see me use in today's video. And the last I checked, Rosé in the Air was in the lead, although Nude Awakening did pretty good. It had like 30%, but I think that Rosé in the Air had like 36 or 37% of the votes. So I definitely plan on doing looks, if not necessarily filmed like YouTube tutorials with all those palettes, but if you're not following me on Instagram, you should go follow me on Instagram because I usually post makeup looks and flat lays and fun stuff like that on that account. So here we have this little guy. It is a 10-pan eyeshadow palette. You have 8 colors here that are a little bit smaller, and then you have a transition on each end, which I think is really cool. These retail for $4.97. I actually got mine for even cheaper at Walmart. But I feel like for the color variety, you really can't beat it for the price. And this shade selection is obviously giving us Anastasia Beverly Hills Modern Renaissance vibes, which I'm sure why a lot of people are curious to see how these actually perform on the eyes. So we'll just go for it and see how things work. So as much as I am like really tempted by this like orangey shade up here and the warmer shades in this, I think we're actually gonna go maybe a little more cool toned with this look. We're gonna switch things up today. So I'm gonna grab my Morphe M441 brush, which is one of my favorites for the crease, and we're gonna go in with this sort of mauve-y purple shade in the crease as our transition today. Now I obviously didn't apply a primer, but we did apply concealer to the lids and set it down with powder, which is a lot of times what I do to prime my lids when I am feeling, I don't know, a little lazy, a little less like I want to go ham with the makeup. So we're just skipping the extra step of adding an additional eye primer today, and we'll really see how these eyeshadows do just with the concealer by itself. So just to note, when you tap your brush into these, they are very powdery. There is a lot of kickback, so you just want to make sure that you tap your brush off before you go in on your eyes so you don't get fallout. But the pigmentation on this does seem pretty nice. It's blending nicely. It's building up pretty nicely, so I don't hate it so far. Granted, we've only, you know, used one shade. Then I'm going to take my Luxie small tapered blending brush, which is one of my favorites for like more detailed crease work. And we're going to go into this really pretty bright berry shade. And we're going to start this on the outer corner and kind of work that through the lower part of the crease. That's not bad. Not bad at all. Like, I feel like these are the kind of shadows that you need to build a little bit. Like, they're pigmented, but not insanely pigmented, so they layer well, and it blends out pretty good. But if you just take like one tap into the brush and apply it, it will sheer out pretty quickly, I guess is what's happening. Let's go back in with the Morphe brush and that lilac shade just to make sure those two are blended together. All right, I think I want to swatch these two shimmery shades here. So this is the brown one here. So let's see what that looks like. It's a little patchy, and it's much more of like a satin sheen kind of a color. And then this is the gold one. Oh God, this is chunky. All right, so these are the two shades here. Which one do I want to put on my lid? I think we're gonna try for the gold one just to add a little bit more lightness and brightness. I'm gonna use the ES06 Juno brush, which is their little eye shader brush, and pick up the gold shade, and we're just gonna tap this all over the lid. Again, this looks like it would be metallic, but it actually is more of like a pearlized finish. Like it's like a satin sheen. It's not super shimmery or metallized. All right, let's add something to the lower lash line. So I'm gonna go in with this Morphe E36 brush in that first mauve purple shade. Just take this underneath the lower lash line and then into the berry shade. And we'll take that just on the outermost corner. All right, so here's where the eyeshadow is at right now. I would say that this is not like the worst eyeshadow palette I've ever used, but it's not the best. I mean, it's kind of what I would expect for $5. The shadows, they're buildable, like they show up on the skin, but they are not the most intensely pigmented things I've ever used. And in this particular version of the palettes, the metallic shades are really more of like a satin sheen. They don't pack like a super intensely sparkly, impactful look on the eyes, which is kind of meh. Like I would prefer there to be a little bit more of that in those shades. I mean, they feel super soft and buttery, but when you apply them, even with a finger, like it doesn't build up that much, as you guys can see. Like if you guys have seen my Juvia's Place tutorials, those are like butter. Those go on so intensely foiled and beautiful. This is not what that is. That being said, I think you can get a pretty look with this palette. I don't think that it's going to make your eyeshadow look terrible. I think you can get some nice kind of soft everyday looks. It's just a little bit harder to get something super dramatic. I do feel like we need to amp this up a little bit though. I want to add some glitter. I'm going to take this Stila Glitter and Glow Magnificent Metals eyeshadow in the shade Smoky Storm because I feel like we need this right now. I feel like this is going to amp things up, take them to the next level. So I was just going to add this to the inner corner, but it looked weird, so now I'm just bringing it all the way up on to the lid, and I'm going to let it dry, and then I think I'm going to try to fix this situation because it did not turn out exactly the way that I had anticipated. Sometimes, guys, and mistakes are made, you just need to roll with it. This color was, I knew it was darker, but like it was a lot darker than I thought it was going to be for just the inner corner, so I'm going to just layer a little bit of that gold shade back on top of the inner corner, on top of the glitter. I think that will help. Yes. Yes, this is better. This is better. Okay. We need to add mascara to this situation. I'm going to throw on my Marc Jacobs Velvet Noir mascara. We'll be right back. Alright, last new product that I'm putting on my face is the ColourPop Lux Lipstick in the shade Uno Mas, which is this really beautiful peachy nude. I've been obsessed with this lipstick formula, guys. It is so nice. These lipsticks just like, they feel like butter. They feel so hydrating. Like even if your lips are dry and have like flakiness, it doesn't accentuate it at all. And like it doesn't look totally flat and matte, like it has a little bit of a sheen to it, but it's not incredibly glossy and it doesn't feel heavy. Like some comfort matte formulas feel really waxy and heavy on the lips, and this doesn't at all. It's just like, so nice, so comfortable. I feel like against this foundation, this lip looks extra pale and nude. Like if you're a little bit more fair, it does come across as more of like a Your Lips But Better kind of a shade. But yeah, the other two shades I have of this lipstick I don't think would go with this kind of eye look at all, so I at least wanted to show you guys. I don't know how I like the way that this is pairing. I feel like this looks a little bit pale, so maybe I can like add something a little bit deeper on top of this just to kind of pull everything together. Alright, so I threw a little bit of this Lorac Ultra Ego lip gloss on top just to kind of deepen things up just a teeny bit, so I'm kind of liking the way that this looks together now a little bit better. Alright, so this is our completed look. Not hating it, not really hating this right now at all. Let's kind of take like a little final survey of everything. I do think the foundation, it looks pretty baller. My skin looks flawless right now, minus the fact the shade is a little bit off. I think this will work really well for me in the summer when I have a tan. I do feel like the blush, bronzer, and highlighter, everything went on really nicely with those brushes. I am getting a little bit of patchiness, which could be the foundation, but it also could be the primer, because that Blur Stick primer did kind of make my skin feel a little bit weird, so I definitely want to continue to use the foundation with different primers to see how that kind of affects everything. The Stellar powder, my under eyes don't look too dry, which is really nice, but they do look darker than I would like them to. So I think the shade 02 is maybe a little bit dark for under the eyes. If you have a light to medium complexion, I'd be curious to see what the 01 shade looked like. I think that one might be a little bit better. The Wet n Wild eyeshadow palette, it really isn't bad. Like I really like the way my eye look came out, but the glitter in this right now is what's really making it. Those Stila Glitter and Glow eyeshadows are fan-freaking-tastic, but those aren't news to me. I've had those for a while. I just think that the metallics in the Wet n Wild palette don't really add enough impact, so I feel like that kind of took this eyeshadow level from like a 5 to like an 8, 9, if you know what I mean. And then I can't say enough good things about the ColourPop Lux lipsticks. I think the formula is beautiful for $7. I mean, can we talk about the packaging on this? It's like absolutely flippin' stunning. There's like little stars even on the bullet. It's so cute, and I do really like the shade Uno Mas a lot. I just feel like against this foundation it looks a little bit light, so I think the gloss did help with that. I do feel like this would be a fun Valentine's Day look. I totally was not even necessarily really thinking that when I sat down and started doing this, but I feel like it just kind of worked out that way. So thank you guys again so much for hanging out with me today, having a little makeup playtime. Hopefully it was helpful for you to see how some of these products work, especially those Wet n Wild eyeshadow palettes. I do really want to use the other 3 and post some looks to Instagram, so make sure that you're following me over on my Instagram. It's @LittleBlushingBirdie if you want to see what else I come up with. And if you're not already subscribed, make sure that you click that button before you click out of this video. If you want to see my update in March, which will be the currently testing update for a lot of the products that I used in this video. So once I've had a few more weeks of playing with them, I'll give you guys my in-depth full review about how they worked, whether or not I thought they were worth purchasing, and all that good stuff. So make sure you guys come back for that. And in the meantime, happy Valentine's Day. I hope, regardless of if you're single or in a relationship or what the status of that is for you today, or however you're celebrating, I hope you have a lovely day. I am sure that tonight I will be eating some kind of delicious dinner somewhere, although I haven't made a reservation yet, which may be a really terrible thing because it is so hard to get a table pretty much anywhere on Valentine's Day, so we may just end up doing takeout and like watching a movie at home. I don't really know yet. Anyway, I hope you guys have a good one, enjoy the rest of your day, and I will see you in Friday's video. Bye.